And they call me warrior. They call me loyalty. And they call me...
Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to get out of, or Latika is going to show you, we're going to demonstrate how you get out of somebody choking you from the mount position. Alright, so when I'm mounted on top of Latika, alright, her default position always, anytime somebody is on top of her, alright, her knees, alright, are not going to be flat on the ground. I don't want her legs flat. I always want her legs up. This gives her the ability to now bridge and get my body moving one way or the other. Alright? So, her hands, they're not going to be out here. They're not going to be reaching for my eyes or trying to hit me in the groin, right? So, if I'm choking her right now and she goes to reach for my eyes, alright, there's no way she can get to my eyes. If she tries to hit me in the groin, she can't really generate a lot of force, alright, to hit me in the groin, right? It's gonna be not hard enough to cause significant damage or make me change my mind. What it will make me do though, is if she tries to hit me in the groin, is to now start punching her face or dropping elbows on her, right? Because she can't hit me hard enough from this position to cause a real effect other than just anger me. So there's something better she can do from here, and that's get me off of her. Alright? So as I put pressure on her right now, the first thing she's going to do, alright, is she's going to come up, alright, this default position is her hands on top of her forehead, okay, she's not making a fist, and her elbows are close together. We always want the elbows close together. They're not spread out like this, playing peekaboo, alright, because I can still get to her jaw if I decide to throw punches, okay? Alright, her shoulders are shrugged, protecting her jawline, because our jawline is our knockout button, and her head, alright, is lifted off the mat, okay? So she's like this, alright? This is going to give her the best ability to bridge and move, alright? So, but we're going to say I was able to defeat this default position and get to her in a choking position. The first thing she's going to do is come up and grab my tricep with her right arm. She's grabbing with a C-clamp grip. Alright? She's not grabbing me as hard as she can, alright? But she's got a solid grip on here. Alright? Notice her elbow is underneath and close to my thigh. It's not flared out like this. Very little strength here. So as soon as she grabs, she turns her elbow in and it becomes on top of my thigh. Her other hand, right, is going to come in between our two hands. She's going to get skin-on-skin contact as she grabs here. Notice her elbow's high in this position. Once she grabs, she's going to grab close to my wrist and lock her elbow down. So now both her elbows are locked, okay? They're not flared out, they're locked down. That makes her grip more solid on my wrist and arm. It keeps me from posting it out when she goes to roll, all right? So notice this grip is a thumbless grip. It's not a C-clamp. The thumbless / monkey grip right here, all right, is a stronger grip than the C-clamp on my wrist in this position. Now she's going to trap my foot, all right? So she traps my foot on the same side, okay? Now she's going to look where she wants to roll. She's going to bridge with the intent of putting my head at a 45-degree angle, and she's going to come up on top. She's ready to strike right now, but we're going to show you how to get up here in a minute. Okay, so now I just want to show you something to speed the maneuver, way to speed the technique up a little bit. All right, so if Latika lays down, all right, I'm going to get in the mount position on top of her. All right. So far, what we've been doing is, as I've got my hands around her, step one is she's been grabbing the back of my tricep. Step two is she's been coming in between my arms, all right, and locking down, okay, and then she's been trapping my foot, and then bridging and rolling. The thing though is, that's 1, 2, 3 steps that are all taking time, while Latika is either losing air or losing blood. So, what I'd like her to do in this situation, right, is do all 3 of those at the same time. So, is I'm here on top of her and I'm giving her pressure. She's going to grab my tricep and grab my wrist and grab my foot at the same time. Go ahead and start to bridge and roll. And before I know what's happening, I'm on the bottom and she's on the top. So now I'm actually going to give Latika a little bit of pressure. All right, I'm not actually going to choke her, but I'm going to give her pressure of what a 5'9", 190-pound man can do to a 5-foot-tall woman. All right. So now I'm on top of her. I'm going to give her some pressure. She's going to show you what this looks like, real speed. All right. Pressure. Boom. Nice. Good job. All right. Perfect. Okay. So we just want to give you a different angle so you can totally see what Latika is doing here. All right. So again, I've somehow split her default position. All right. Her legs are up. Okay. What she's doing, she's grabbing the back of my tricep. She's going in between my arms. She's trapping my right foot. All right. The table legs are starting to get sawed off. She bridges and rolls. All right. And now she's on top of me. Perfect. Okay, sometimes people get confused on, hey, which side arm do I trap? What side leg do I trap? Which way do I go? So I want to kind of give you an explanation of when someone's on top of you, they're always kind of like a table. Their base on top of you is always like a table. And if we cut the legs off the table, then that table collapses. All right. So Latika and I are going to show you kind of what I'm talking about here to give you a better visual on what's actually happening when she bridges me over. So Latika's going to go onto all fours just like this. All right. Well, if I cut the leg off Latika's table, and say I choose her right arm, her left arm, okay, she can lift this arm off, and her table is still solid. If I choose her left arm and her right leg, so go ahead and lift your right leg up, her table is a little bit more wobbly, but still pretty solid. I may not be able to bridge her over, okay? But if I take her left arm and her left leg, right? So now look how she's got to change. Look how she's got to move, right? The table is very unstable when I saw the legs off on the same side. Now, you can hold that for a second while I come around. So if I take the leg off on the same side, right? This time we've chosen the left side, and I bridge them that way, the table collapses. All right? So when I'm on top of Latika, go ahead, we're going to go to mount real quick. All right? When she chops off, when I'm choking her, all right, and she's gonna chop off the leg of my right arm this time, right? So she's gonna grab my tricep. Now she chops off my right leg and she bridges me in the right direction. Boom! My table collapses. So I've got Latika mounted, and as soon as she feels my hands on her throat, she's gonna go. Ready? Good job. Perfect. All right, so now I just want to show you a couple of other contingencies that can happen. There's some way that I've seen this kind of taught before, but that I think are a little less effective. All right, so if I'm doing this, Latika can just bridge me forward, right, boom, and make me come here. But now she still has to try to reach up and grab an arm with both her hands. And so go ahead and just grab, just right around my elbow, right, and try to pull this arm in. The thing though is, I'm 190 pounds, and Latika's about 100. So she's never going to be able to pull my arm in with both of her arms, right? I'm significantly bigger and stronger than her. Now, if we were the same strength, she could probably pull my arm in. But once I'm here, and she's reaching up and trying to grab it and snap it, I've got too much weight here right now for her to be able to pull it in easily. She's too far underneath me. So just bridging and getting my hands to the ground and trying to snatch my arm in this situation, she's going to have to do some other things to make it effective. Where if she just did the gripping right to begin with, it would have been effective off the bat. All right. The other thing is, some people will say, well, just grab the arm. So she just grabs the arm at my elbow like this. Well, if she goes to bridge and roll, all right, from here, go ahead. All right. My hand comes down to the mat, and the bridging and rolling has become ineffective because I got a hand to a mat. All right. So that's the reason I like this technique the best. Is when she comes up and she grabs the back of my elbow with her right and is close to my wrist with her left hand, all right, when she goes to bridge and roll, I can't take that hand out. It's locked in, especially when her elbows are close together, right? It's just too much. And when she bridges with force, I'll try to remove my hand this time. Go ahead. I can't, and my head hits, all right? So that's why I like that technique the best, that gripping the best, versus some of the other gripping techniques that are out there. So play with it, see what you think. Okay, so now I'm going to get Latika in the mount position again, all right? And there's a couple of things that can kind of happen to us from this position. Notice that if I'm really high, okay, on Latika, her bridging ability is now, she can bridge, but I'm not going anywhere, all right, because I'm so high, I'm so close to her head. So what she has to do in this position, all right, is she wants her elbows in, and she's going to put her elbows on top of my thighs, right? As she does that, all right, her heels that are on the ground, she's going to start to push herself, all right, away from me and use her elbows to kind of squirm her way out, okay? Now I'm right over the top of her hips, okay? Now that I'm right over the top of her hips, her bridging is going to affect me way more. So if she goes to bridge now, I have to go forward. I have to take my hands away, or my head's going to hit the mat. So her bridging, all right, with me over her hips is the most effective way versus me over her chest. That should be common sense. So now, if we go back to do that same position where I'm choking her, all right, and she goes to step 1, step 2, and step 3, right? So go ahead and grab the back of my tricep, okay? And for some reason, she can't quite get to my foot. My foot is too high here, okay? She can't get to it, all right? It's out here. But she knows she needs to trap it, or when she goes to roll, I'm going to bring it out like a kickstand, and her technique is defeated. So what she's going to do, this elbow here that's on my thigh, she's going to push into my thigh, wiggle herself, all right, out from underneath me a little bit. Go ahead. Boom, boom, boom. Now she can start to trap. Now she can trap that leg. That leg is now in range for her to bridge and roll. Go ahead. Boom. Perfect. Does that make sense?
Yeah.